This is Daron, Kilo 1, Delta Bravo Charlie. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes. This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations, please stand by.
W0TX repeater.
Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Net for October 4th, 2023. How time is flying. It's a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie K1 DBC. My name is Daron Delta Oscar Romeo Oscar November, and I am this evening's net control. Let's see, I want to thank again N0TRP Jim for taking last week's Wednesday night Learning Net, as well as Alex AF0E for taking recent Sunday night nets, and Kevin Schmidt, K0KPS, for stepping in as net control here and there. So really do appreciate everyone jumping in there. Looks like last week you all talked about 146.295 interfering signal, an AM mode, 10 meter activity, AM and FM, and an area southwest Denver Lakewood area lunch group. So sounds pretty good conversations there. We recently had recent elections. We had a recent meeting. So tonight we'll be taking your comments, questions, check-ins, and a whole lot more. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative offset. You can always check on our website, w0tx.org/repeaters, and you can see the exact information, the transmit frequencies, and PL tones. A PL tone is required as a reminder. There used to be something we could turn that off, but at the moment, a 100 hertz PL tone is required, and there's about a 3-minute timeout, so keep that in mind. Again, over on our webpage, w0tx.org/officers, you can find a bunch of phone numbers, email addresses, a bunch of contact info. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can do that like that. Again, also Elmer at w0tx.org. Most social media at Denver Radio Club. That's to include YouTube. So youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. You can check in there or live stream our nets and past meetings if you missed them. So most social media at Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes of the net or visual context, that's an additional way to view the net. Hey, good evening, Robert. All right, this is Daron, K1 DBC. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All right. You can also view who's checked in the past, as well as this evening's net. It's not open for self-check-ins just yet, but if you'd like to follow along with what I'm typing into this spreadsheet, w0tx.org/check-in, you can see a person's call sign, name, call class, city, and some very basic information, as well as we'll jot some information along there. So again, w0tx.org/check-in. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Sorry, lagging a little bit behind here. We had Robert K0RCUW checking in online. Do appreciate that. RWA4MBG. I'm sorry. I keep getting your call sign incorrect there, Robert or Bob. So I got you checked in. Sorry about that. This is Daron, K1 DBC. Again, if you're not near a repeater, you can check in online as well as on the All-Star Link node. We don't mention it too often, but I know Robert has done it in the past as well, I believe, or a different Robert potentially, but node 42851. So if you want to hook your radio up to the All-Star Link node 42851, you can check in over the repeater if you're not in the Denver metro area. So that's another way to check in as well. Okay, with that, we'll move on to regular check-ins. All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical group based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. Again, the suffix is the number, the letter after the number in the call sign, the first letter after the number in your call sign. So, for example, my call sign is Kilo 1, Delta, Bravo, Charlie. My call suffix is Delta. So with that, we're taking call suffixes A through M, alpha through Mike. If you can, try to use IT phonetics for your call sign and indicate if you have any traffic or questions. Again, we're taking call suffixes A through M, alpha through Mike. Please call now.
Kilo 0, Lima, Papa Romeo, Lanier and Inglewood.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Juliet Whiskey X-Ray, Ben and Lakewood.
Kilo Echo 0, Alpha Bravo, Ken in Lakewood, no traffic.
November 1, Golf Uniform Mike, Peter in Littleton, with some traffic.
Call for Fox 0 Echo, Alex Broomfield.
WD0 CIV, WD0 CIV, Charles in Denver, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Alpha Whiskey Charlie, Brian, Wheat Ridge, no traffic.
All right, this is Daron, K1 DVC Net Control. We'll hold up there for just a moment. All right, this is K1 DVC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. Let me see, we had K0 LPR Lanier. Online, we had KS0E Alex. Then we had KF0 JWX Ben. Kilo Echo 0 Alpha Bravo Ken. November 1 Golf N1GUM Peter with traffic. AF0E Alex. And WD0 CIV Charles. Thank you all so much for checking in.
W0TX Repeater.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Once more, if your call suffix begins with the letters A through M, alpha through Mike, and you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, again, this is just a net for a general Q&A about ham radio STEM topics. We're taking all comments and questions. So we're taking call suffixes A through M, alpha through Mike. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
November 0, Delta India Sierra, Doug from Denver, no traffic. Kilo Foxtrot 0, Alpha Victor Lima, Jeff, with traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India, Ron and Lakewood, no traffic.
All right, thanks again for everyone joining here on YouTube. You may have watched some of the preview stuff. I was bringing up some of the stories I might be bringing up here. So look forward to that if we have some time here. But with that, we'll keep going here. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. N0DIS Doug, KF0AVL Jeff with traffic, and KF0FPI Ron. Thank you all so much for checking in. We'll go ahead and open the whole alphabet. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham and Learning Net just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions, all call signs, all call suffixes, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
Kilo Charlie 0, Uniform November Tango, Micah Thornton, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, November Alpha Tango. No traffic. The name's Ben, or Benjamin.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood.
Alpha Echo 0, Romeo Kilo, Fred in Denver, no traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We'll hold up there for just a moment. All right, Net Control, I'd like to welcome all of the following check-ins. Let me see here where I left off. Just so I don't miss anybody, just in case. KF0 FPI Ron, KC0 UNT Micah, KF0 NAT Ben, KE0 SUM Jonathan, AE0 RK Fred, N0 TRP Jim, and then we had a check-in online, KC0 ZNT Chris or Christopher. Thank you all so much for checking in. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Thank you all so much for checking in here so far. This is an hour-long net. We have another 45 minutes or so. We end around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. There's no hard stop, but we will be bringing up topics we've talked about in the past, or any stories you want to bring up, any check-ins. We have a couple people who checked in, Peter N1GUM and KF0AVL Jeff, who had some traffic or questions or some things to pass, so we'll jump to them here in a bit. There'll be plenty of opportunities to check in throughout the net. If there's nobody speaking, you're more than happy to jump in and check in just for the count, or if you have traffic or questions. Again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club, w0tx.org/check-in to view the people who've checked in. With that, we'll throw it out to the group here. Any more check-ins at the moment? We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please check in now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Once more, anyone else want to check in at the moment? I can preview some stories I can bring up if there's time. But anyone else at the moment, any other check-ins at the moment to the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net just for the count? Or if you have any traffic or questions, please call now with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Just to preview a few stories we could talk about if we have time. Colorado 4x4 rescue and recovery. They've been in the news here quite recently with a lot of help and rescue and search and rescue kind of operations. Probably a lot of ham radios, CB, people like that. So probably something we could cover. Some Alan Turing's equipment returned to England from Conifer here in Colorado. Tech in plain sight, microwave ovens. Hypersonic speech jammer works at a distance. Portrait of a long wave station in its twilight years. New LoRa distance, 830-mile record. Satellite hunting hack chat, and much, much more. But with that, we have, again, 45 minutes or so here left. There's no hard stop to the end of the net, but everyone is welcome to join in, regardless of your experience or not. Again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club is a great place to get in contact if you're not licensed. Discord, w0tx.org/Discord, quite a lively and a thriving chat room for our club. So check things out there, even if you're not licensed. And with that, we will throw it over to Peter, N1GUM. Peter, the net is yours. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Daron. This is N1GUM, Peter. I would like to ask the members of this group how they are routing the cables to the outside, to outside antennas, whether shack is in the basement or on top floor. Living in a typical suburban home, there are numerous ways, I guess, this can be accomplished. I'd like to know how the members of this group are doing it. So if anyone is willing to share, I would like to hear that.
Are you talking about a home installation?
That's correct. In a home, to bring the cables through either the windows of one of these commercially available feed-throughs or homemade, or are people drilling, penetrating through some walls or going through the attics. So any one of these options, I'd like to hear what people are doing.
W0TX repeater.
Hey, Jerome, can I give my take on that? KE0SUM.
Sounds good, Jonathan. KE0SUM. Go right ahead.
Well, I was wondering, are you wanting to do a vertical, or are you going to do a horizontal wire? That'd be probably one of my first questions. And if you're doing a wire, can you do it in the yard? But yeah, you need to bring your coax down and put a lightning arrestor on since it's outside and ground it. But yeah, go ahead, tell me a little bit more if you would.
Yes, I was thinking more in general terms, feeding an antenna with a coax cable. So regardless if it's vertical or some wire antenna made for HF, I believe there would be a cable, a coax cable that's going to the outside first and foremost, and whatever is on the outside with maybe an external tuner or a balun or whatever the antenna feed point would be, what is the preferred methods, or what are some of the things that people do to get the cables from the shack to the outside?
Oh, that's a great question, because they make window pass-throughs, they call them. Some are flat, some are very thin coax that can move through your window to go outside. They also make I think a rig runner makes if you have a window that opens up and down, they make one that goes across the bottom with like 4, 5, 6 coax connectors. So that's a couple ways you could do it. KE0SUM, back to now.
TRP.
Yeah, good follow-up there, SUM. Yeah, TRP, I'll get back to you here in just a second. Yeah, as you mentioned there, SUM, and I think as you were alluding to at GUM as well, window pass-throughs seem to be quite a popular option of using creep open the window a little bit and then close it down on one of these pass-through devices. So yeah, either that or some manually made devices or I don't know what other options there are, but TRP with any other follow-up, go right ahead.
Now this N0 TRP, I can explain what I did. My shack is in the basement, and about 3 feet above my shack table here, I've got one of those small rectangular basement windows out to a small window well. And what I did for a pass-through panel was went to my one of my local mega stores and picked up a cutting board, and that cutting board is 3/8 inches thick. And that just happens to be that my old aluminum window there for the window well has a track that's exactly 3/8 of an inch thick, so it fit perfectly. But I suppose that panel is maybe 12 by 14 inches, something like that. And then I got some barrel connectors, coax barrel connectors, drilled the holes through the cutting board, mounted the barrel connectors, also have a ground rod running through there, or ground wire running through there in the same way, also a little thermometer wire and a rotor control cable. And so anyway, that's what I did. And then outside the window well, I got short patch cables right into the lightning protectors, lightning arresters for each coax line, and that sit in the window well, and then the lines run out to the backyard and the roof. So that's kind of what we did here at the TRP shack. N0 TRP back to net.
Alpha Bravo.
All right, sounds good there. TRP, really do appreciate that. Yeah, it seems like window options are a pretty good option there. And Alpha Bravo, I'll get back to you here in a second. Yeah, it just made me think about how do our normal utilities, coax cable or fiber or whatever, how do they terminate? I mean, it's basically just a hole in the wall, essentially. So, yeah, I mean, we might be a bit more energy efficient without using a window as an egress for our coax. But yeah, just drilling a hole in the side of the wall. I mean, just like any other kind of coax, Comcast or Xfinity, how they would do it would be a pretty good option. Just a junction box outside, and then some connectors, some short runs, and things like that. But yeah, we have a lot of options. But Alpha Bravo, go right ahead.
This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo. Ken, Peter, the way I did it, I'm kind of a messy old construction worker, but what I did is where my water spigot comes out between the basement, my house is basement and then it's brick, but where the foundation and the brick meet together, where the water spigot comes out, what I did is I took a cold chisel. I didn't want a hammer drill into the basement wall or the brick wall, but I took a cold chisel and I knocked about a 1-inch hole right next to the water pipe that comes out with the water spigot. But if you do that, you got to be careful that you don't wreck that the copper pipe or the water spigot. But I chiseled me out about a 1-inch hole, and that's where I run all my coax cables out. Now, you couldn't do any ladder line or anything like that, but I think I have about 6 or 7 coax cables coming through that 1-inch hole. So that's the way I did it. This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo, back to net.
Alpha Bravo, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, thanks for your follow-up on there as well. Yeah, another utility or service of how just using an existing entryway, really. Yeah, just make sure to protect any existing things that you would be maybe riding along with or inside of another conduit or something like that. But yeah, it sounds like there's plenty of options out there to kind of terminate a cable coax, bring it in from outside into your home. So TRP, or excuse me, N1GUM, Peter, if you have any other follow-up or anyone else has any other follow-up on how to bring in an antenna from outdoors to indoors in your domicile, please call now.
RK.
AT.
All right, we had a couple of follow-ups there. We had AE0RK Fred and then NAT Ben. We'll get back to you here in just a second. So RK, go right ahead.
Hey, yeah, that's a great discussion for how to get coax out of the window, but I took a slightly different approach that might be interesting. I'm not sure if it fits your needs, but I actually have the unun inside, so I run coax the unun at the window, and I transition to wire 24 gauge for my off-center fed dipole, and that fits just perfectly in the small gaps in the window when it's closed. So I actually just run the antenna wire straight out of my house on the second floor, and that is the highest point of my sloper antenna. And then the two legs are just mounted outside. So if you can get away with not running the coax outside, you might be able to just run the antenna wire through the window, and that may be a lot easier. AE0RK.
AE0RK, this is K1 DBC Net Control. That's really awesome. That's kind of a little bit of a paradigm shift. I've never really thought about doing that, really. I mean, yeah, using a 24 gauge wire to build the your specific antenna that you're trying to build, but being able to get through smaller gaps into your home from outside. That's a pretty interesting idea. Yeah, I hadn't heard of that. So yeah, really cool. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know if anybody had any other follow up on that. What Fred mentioned there. Go right ahead.
W0TX repeater.
Yeah, Kilo Fox 0 NAT. I'll jump in here if that's okay.
Not a problem. NAT, Ben, go right ahead.
Yeah, good evening, everybody, and thanks, Jerome, for sorting this out. Interesting conversation about bringing feeders in. It's been a challenge in every house I've lived in. So I haven't done anything different than anybody's explained. The chap with the chopping board, sorry, I missed your call and your name, but I followed a similar idea. My basement window and out through the hatch into the garden, buried my coax under the river rock, and then ran it up to the discrete wire in the tree. But my windows are they slide left to right. I don't know if I'm describing this very well, but to secure that, obviously I lose the option of locking it. So I've got a block of chipboard. So on the other side of the window, in the groove, so the window will not open more than half an inch. Just raising a security concern anyway. That helped me sleep better at night. Right, back to you, Jerome.
Can I ask you how you like your off-center fed?
Yeah. So go again. Sorry, I missed that.
I've been lately really interested in off-center feds. I was wondering how you liked yours. KE0SUM.
No, Kilo Fox 0 NAT. No, I'm not running off-center fed. It's I've got an end fed and a small base vertical. So I can't help with that one. Back to you.
Oh, whenever I thought I heard off-center end fed, but I use end feds, but I haven't played with an off-center yet. Back to you, Jerome.
Mentioned flat coax going through a window or a door. KC0UNT.
Good evening. The time is 8 p.m.
I think that was KC0UNT Mike about flat coax. No, I was looking at a Google search results of this, and it shows that as an option, and somehow I just missed that completely a few times here. So yeah, some potentially flat coax that you can use with you can shut your window a lot more normally and lock it. So yeah, as mentioned there, Ben was mentioning some of the negatives potentially to some of the pass-through options, but really do appreciate that. I think that was Micah, or it may have been Chris.
Hey, it was Micah.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that, KC0UNT. Yeah, no, I have not used any flat coax cables. I've used flat Ethernet cables, and been able to work just fine with that. I mean, those are kind of a novelty thing, but I don't know if anybody's had any experience with, again, instead of a nice, big, thick gauge cable, it's nice and flat, and you could potentially loop it under a window and close your window. So I don't know if anybody's had any experience with that. Go right ahead.
Well, you have to consider you're adding more connections to your system, so you're going to experience a certain amount of loss.
Yeah, I haven't used it yet, but my personal situation is I live in an HOA in a townhouse, so I can't do penetrations and I can't do permanent setup, so everything has to be removable. But I haven't used it yet, but my plan is this winter, as it gets pretty cold, I'll be able to run an antenna out through the sliding glass door and then use that flat coax to be the pass-through, and that's how I'll get my antenna out without letting all the warm air out. And KC0UNT, because I forgot to do that at the end.
Well, on the light note, I have to agree with you. Let's keep the cold air out.
All right, sounds good. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, yeah, definitely utilities, and as we come into winter and as summertime, we don't want to leak out heat or cool air if we don't need to, if we can help it at least. So, yeah, I don't know. I haven't really tried any of these. I have a coax. I have kind of a makeshift pass through that's even kind of worse, quite frankly. So, it's basically the same thing, but not. There's nothing crazy about it. So I am losing heat. I can tell you that. But this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, great question there. N1GON, really do appreciate everyone else's follow-up. SUM, NAT, and KC0UNT, and anyone else who had followed up on that. I really do appreciate that. So, yeah. What else? I mean, in terms of a security thing, if you're using one of the pass-throughs we were talking about, you can, at least if you get like if you buy like a window, an AC unit, they give you some things that you can kind of drill in to prevent the window from moving further. So, but yeah, it does prevent you from opening it and closing it in certain ways. So, yep, there's some drawbacks and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, if you can make a more permanent solution, maybe try to make that. If you're restricted to whatever you need to, have to follow those restrictions. But there's plenty of options out there for everyone. So, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else on that topic while we're talking here? Go right now.
W3 REM.
This is K1 DBC Net Control. There was a W3 call in there. I think it was a W3 REM, Romeo Edward Mike. Robert, I got you checked in. Thank you so much for checking in. If you have any comments or questions, go right ahead.
Yes, sir. I was just scanning repeaters here and heard Jeanette. I heard Jonathan on there. Hello, Jonathan. And the topic,
I can't remember now the brand, but I think it was MFJ. Someone may have mentioned this, but they have a window pass-through with UHF with PL259 connectors on each end. I had used that to go through a window in the wintertime so I can close it. It worked great. I actually bought another one. Don't have a house now, but I have a couple of those connectors. They work great. W3REM. Thanks, guys.
All right, W3REM. Yeah, great to hear you in there. It sounds like I think this is maybe your first time maybe checking into our net, but you may be familiar with some of our colleagues and friends here. So really do appreciate that. So yeah, really do appreciate the check-in and the follow-up on that. Yeah, and hopefully I wouldn't think that the as you mentioning there, maybe the energy efficiency of losing heat or whatnot should be fairly minimal in comparison to some other options out there. So yeah, really do appreciate that follow up with the MFJ with coax PL259 UHF connectors. Yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit, but yeah, there's some pretty good options out there. They seem a little bit utilitarian, but they get the job done quite well. So yeah, really appreciate that.
W0TX repeater.
Hey, Drone, while I look it up, do you know where this repeater's located at? KE0SUM.
This is K1DBC Net Control. I used to know it right off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm trying to bring up our website as well. Let me see. The main one is Centennial Cone. Centennial Cone. If you look that up on Google Maps, that is where the repeater that you're talking on right now, 145 and 145.9. 14549 and 448.625. That's where those repeaters are located. Centennial Cone.
I'm in Golden, and I thought I was going to be too close to the mountains here to hit any repeaters, but I'm hearing you guys fine. W3REM.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, thanks for the follow-up on that REM. Yeah, we are quite blessed to have the mountain peaks that we do. It's really provides amazing coverage for the RF propagation and coverage in the Denver metro and northern and southern areas and eastern coverage, quite frankly, from that one repeater, along with some of our other repeaters. So we have pretty good coverage from that repeater. So we'll take check-ins here in just a minute. I see, but I don't know if Jonathan, if you have any other follow-up on that, go right ahead.
No, thanks, Drone. Bob's a good friend of mine, and now I know I can talk to him on the Denver Radio Club repeater. Interesting, I got an email just today saying, oh, Jonathan, your renewal is up. So I guess I'll have to re-up. KE0SUM, back to net.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Renewals just came up, I think, around the first of the month or so. Yeah, we definitely always appreciate everyone's help and participation in this club. You don't have to be a paid member to participate in any of it, and we really do appreciate, honestly. It's kind of the, you guys are the core of this club, and we really do appreciate everyone's participation in this club. So in terms of repeaters as well, real quick here, on our club page, w0tx.org/repeaters, there's a .zip file that I put together, Larry Irons, K0LAI, had put together originally several years ago, and then I went through it a few years ago and kind of went through and keyed up a bunch of repeaters. So as of last year at least, there's quite a lot of repeaters in our area that are available to us, and I think we've talked about that a little bit. Maybe there's too many or whatever it may be, but yeah, there's tons of repeaters still online and available for use for everyone. So with that, it's 8:10 p.m. Mountain Time. I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to take check-ins. Let me drop here for a moment. And Jeff KF0AVL, I did not forget about you here. I'll get back to you here in just a minute. So with that, this is Daron K1 DBC Net Control. You're tuned into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning, that great place to learn about ham radio STEM topics. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. If you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now. Once more, this is K1 DBC Net Control. You've tuned into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning, a great place to learn about ham, radio, and STEM topics. If you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please check in now.
I'll jump out there. This is W3REM, Bob. I'm portable in Golden. No questions. I'm just happy to be here and listening.
All right, W3REM. Bob, sorry I didn't mention I did get you checked in earlier. Do appreciate you checking in again, though, just for making sure. REM, Bob, really do appreciate that. And if you ever, we have this net every Wednesday night, except for the third Wednesday of the month, same 7:30 p.m. Till 8:30 p.m., so don't hesitate to jump in. If you or anyone else has any other comments or questions, don't ever hesitate to jump in. Okay, I'll take check-ins just at the end of the net here in about 15 or so, 20 minutes. But with that, we'll throw it over to Jeff, KF0AVL, with traffic. The net is yours. Go ahead. KF0AVL. Jeff, if you're still out there and you want to pass some traffic or you have any questions, AVL, Jeff, go right ahead. All right, we'll try Jeff here in a few more minutes. Again, I have some stories I can pass here. But does anyone else have any other comments, traffic questions, comments, projects you're working on, follow-up from past nets, any thing you would like to bring up that might be relevant to our group here? This is an open forum, a great Q&A, and we're all here to help and listen and learn. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else at the moment, please call now.
I don't know. I think it's relevant to ham radio. SUM.
KE0SUM, Jonathan, not a problem. I'm sure there's probably some relevancy to it. There's a lot of tendrils to ham radio. So go right ahead. The net is yours.
Oh, my mind works in strange ways. So tonight I was thinking, because the government's opened up about UFOs. And in Mexico, they displayed an alien, which looked like ET that hadn't been watered. But besides that, we always listen to radio waves from outer space, trying to detect signals from other civilizations. So I think the whole UFO thing is fascinating. My mother has always, before she passed, always believed in UFOs and collected articles on them. I grew up learning everything about UFOs that, I guess I believe. So, I don't know, it's kind of a weird topic, Drone, but KE0SUM, back in that.
KE0SUM, Jonathan, not a problem. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, there is a lot of interesting things. They're now saying they're calling them unidentified anomalous phenomena. And there's an amazing amount of things behind it. And it can very easily get muddled into a non-scientific and kind of, at least from a ham radio, non-scientific approach. And the movie Contact really with Jodie Foster and SETI Institution, that was really awesome to see that back in the day. And it would be awesome to believe. And Arthur C. Clarke mentioned there's two possibilities: either we are alone in this universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. So you know what? It would be awesome, and there's probably something out there. We'll find out in the next few decades, maybe, hopefully. This Osiris X asteroid project just came back down to Earth, so we'll maybe find out some things with that. So it might be hopefully some microbial things, but hopefully in the next few decades we'll figure something out with that. But that's a pretty interesting thing. But yeah, it does delve with. Let me drop here for a moment. Radio astronomy, a lot of cool things that we've talked about in the past. So that is a really awesome, a really cool way to get interested into, radio telescopes detect and amplify radio waves from space, turning them into signals that astronomers use to enhance our understanding of the universe. So we are definitely quite similarly involved with a lot of this stuff, with some of the hobbies that we've done. And there's a Society of Amateur Radio Astronomers. But there's just not enough science really behind it at the moment. But hopefully, we'll find something, and we'll see. But I'll throw it back out to you or anyone else on the net here. Go right ahead.
Well, I would be interested in some other opinions, but here's the question. Okay, a UFO, some kind of spacecraft lands in your yard this evening. Would you go out and say hi? KE0SUM back to the net.
W3REM.
W3REM, go right ahead.
With that UAP, the congressional David, what's his name there? I was a quick story. I was playing with that AI on Bing on the search engines there, and it came up and said, "Hey, well, ask me anything. We'll play a knock knock joke, whatever." So I had to do knock knock. It said, "Who's there?" I said, "Biologics, bots, and shadows of things in other dimensions." It told me it didn't want to talk to me anymore. W3REM, back to net.
Yeah. AI and machine learning, it is really making it's quite a revolution at this point in time. It's similar to the Industrial Revolution. We're seeing things that I don't think a lot of people would expect it at this time. But within even our consumer electronics and gadgets, it's pretty amazing what you can see out there and what it's trying to think and do. So, yeah, who knows?
Quick comment there. I've been using that AI now on the search engines pretty regular. It is amazing. That AI actually goes and does searches for you, picks out the information that's relevant, and summarizes it, gives it back to you. So it works really good. You try it for different things.
TRP.
Very cool. Yeah, N0TRP. Jim, go right ahead.
N0TRP here. Just quick note on AI. You got to be careful. Watch the answer and make sure it's right. I asked that Bing chat thing what was the proper pilot hole size for a 1/4-inch light screw, and it came back with the wrong answer the first time. And then I told it was wrong, and it came back and said, "Oh, you're right. Here's the right answer." So. Anyway, just got to watch that AI. N0TRP, back to that.
Absolutely, and that made me think about a tool that we've had in the past called Wolfram Alpha, if you've ever used that. And that tool was quite flawless in that it was basically math and science. And so it was a lot of AI and a lot of things like that before we were talking about it here. But that's just a really cool way to see, kind of just to compare, finite data sets, mathematical data sets compared to everything else. So yeah, take things with a pinch of salt. Double check, everything you read on the internet, and measure twice, cut once, and get things from different resources. So. Yeah, we are in an amazing day and age, and I think it's we're just taking baby steps, hopefully, and to maybe progress more into the future, and who knows what we'll see 10, 15 years down the line. So, it is 8:21 p.m. Good chat there. I don't know if anybody else has anything on that. I might try Jeff here, AVL, in a moment. But anyone else, any comments, questions, check-ins, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I think we had a double in there. I heard KE0SUM, and then there was another call in there. Who else just tried to call in?
It's N1GUM, Peter. I just want to acknowledge all the input that was given by the people regarding the antenna feed-throughs. So I do appreciate that. Back to net.
All right, we appreciate the appreciation. Yeah, thank you so much, N1GUM, Peter. Yeah, we definitely love giving that follow-up, and we had a pretty good discussion there. So, and then I think Jonathan was saying something else in there, KE0SUM. Go right ahead.
Well, my first thought is definitely we love exploring antennas as ham radio operators. So many configurations and ways to do it. I'm not sure if there's a perfect one by any means. But I was saying that Bob has it right. He distilled it down to AI, distills it down to the information you're looking for. So if you use it in that way responsibly, it's a good technology. KE0SUM, back to net.
All right, sounds good there, Jonathan, KE0SUM. Yeah, who knows the future of that? They'll suck up my videos, and we'll be able to do nets, and I won't even have to be here. Who knows? No. This is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, very powerful tools out there. Knowledge is power. There's a lot of knowledge on the internet, and it takes a long time to maybe scrape through everything that you need. So maybe use that maybe as a baseline, but then do some follow-ups. And it's use all the tools at your resources and at your disposal, and work smarter and not harder. So maybe work hard and smart. Who knows? But this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll try Jeff KF0AVL. Jeff KF0AVL. Are you out there? If you want to pass any traffic or questions, go right ahead. Just a quick preview for the outro. I did say quick. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Once more, we'll try you out there, KF0AVL, Jeff. I think you checked in earlier if you had some traffic. If you want to pass that, the net is yours. Go right ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We have another 5 or so minutes. Not a hard stop, but I did preview some stories we could talk about. But if anybody else has any other comments, questions, check-ins at the moment, I'll take check-ins just towards the end of the net. But anyone else, any further comments or questions, please call now.
W0TX repeater.
Drive.
EVO for comment.
All right, I think we had another double in there, Jonathan, I think, and then there was, I think that was AVL as well. If that was Jeff, AVL, go right ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to switch out batteries. I joined the net last time, and we were talking about the simplex stuff. My question now is, for 10 meters on the technician band, what's the best, hiking or easily packable antenna for the 10 meter? I've read a lot about the speaker wire, so just any thoughts?
What radio are you taking?
I just got the X90.
So you're wanting an antenna to take along for 10 meters?
Yeah, roger that. Just if, something portable, something where I could go camping or hiking, kind of set it up. I was thinking about, I've seen the inverted V, where you don't need a whole lot of stuff, and it seems like you don't even need a balun if you're using directly speaker wire, but just any thoughts?
Well, I think the inverted D is perfect, or just an end-fed half wave for 10 meters. It's going to be really short, so it should pretty well. Of course, these are all wire.
All right, good question there. AVL, yeah, I do appreciate that. Let me drop here for a second. Make sure I'm not doubling over you. Inverted V, as mentioned there, G5RV, pretty good antenna, $50 to $100. End-fed half-wave antennas, as Jonathan mentioned there, pretty good options for 10-meter portable. With the Zygu G90, I think you mentioned there, should be pretty good setup. So anyone else on that 10-meter portable antenna operations or setups, go right ahead.
The other one you could do is a tripod with a long whip shortened about halfway down. That'd work on 10 meters if you'd like a vertical for quick setup. KE0SUM.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'm getting diminishing returns in my brain here this evening. So, yeah, I do appreciate that follow-up there, Jonathan. I don't know if AVL or if anyone else has any other follow-up on that. Go right ahead. All right, Jeff, AVL, KF0 AVL. Yeah, let us know how you work out on that. What options you maybe went through or researched or whatever it may be. So let us know. Follow up if you have anything in the future. I do appreciate that. So sorry we didn't get you here earlier, but glad to hear you're back on the air here. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. This will be the second to last call for any other check-ins at the moment. I'll run through a quick few stories here, and then we'll wrap up the net. So this will be the second to last call. Any other last-minute check-ins just for the count, or if you have anything else for the net, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please check in now.
Comment, REM.
Yeah, REM. Bob, go right ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you. A quick comment regarding AI. I do IT work contracting to the government. So my biggest question for AI was, what are the chances of government shutdown? And it was wrong. It was saying 90% chance. But I guess, you could always say there's that 10%. And then regarding UFOs, here's a little saying that someone brought up there, and it's still bouncing around in my head here. It's, I am observed, therefore I exist. W3REM, back to net.
All right, REM, do appreciate the follow-up on that. Yeah, really cool stuff on AI and whatnot. And yeah, grain of salt and things like that. But we're seeing kind of the ramifications of it nowadays, unfortunately, in the real world anyway. So, and then, there's a lot of philosophy involved with some of this other stuff. But it's I think a lot of us would like to believe in something else greater out there. So we'll see one day. Who knows? But this is Daron, K1, DBC Net Control. All right, just to quickly run through a couple of stories here. Colorado 4x4 Club, a rescue and recovery club, nonprofit in the area here. They do vehicle recoveries on 4x4 trails, search and rescue, emergency support, provides emergency support to local and state agencies. So they do countless of recoveries for free, I believe. And they've been in the news here recently of some people getting up into the high countries and whatnot, where they got stuck, and the Colorado, this group 4x4 Rescue and Recovery at least tried to help with some of these. Pretty cool stuff. I know we've talked about them. If you have a GMRS or a CB radio, or if you're into 4x4, you might have heard of this group. So volunteer with them. Check into their club, co4x4rnr.org, Colorado 4x4 Rescue and Recovery. It's a little bit of an older story by on August 24th, codebreaker Alan Turing's belongings returned to England from Conifer, Colorado. A woman claiming to be the legendary mathematician's relative had stolen the items and stashed them in Conifer. So you can read up on him and the items that were returned there. This is a Westward article at least, but pretty interesting. Pretty interesting things about Alan Turing and the math and science and everything we're talking about here nowadays. Similar to that Turing test you may have heard of, very similar to kind of AI and what separates a human from what can a machine prove it's a human, things like that. So very much in lines with what kind of we've been speaking about here a little bit. Let me see if there's anything else, and I might throw it back out to the net here. Let's see, an article here. Let's see, a few things. Let me see. Hackaday.com. Talk about them quite a bit. Article by Jenny List, September 13th. Portrait of a long wave station in its twilight years.
W0TX repeater.
There's a quirk of broadcasting in Europe left over from the earliest days of the medium, which our American readers may not have encountered. As well as the familiar AM band, Europeans and Africans also have a so-called long wave band, on which you'll find AM broadcast stations between about 150 and 280 kilohertz. Long wave transmissions were an ideal solution in the 1920s and 1930s to the problem of achieving national coverage from a single transmitter. and were widely used by state broadcasters. In an age of digital streaming, they are increasingly irrelevant. YouTuber Ringway Manchester takes a look at one of Britain's last long-wave transmitter sites at Droitwich, not too far from Birmingham. Covers 50 acres, home to a variety of both medium wave and single wave transmitters. Long wave is a T-shaped affair strung by 2 masts. They're guessing the radiator is the vertical portion with the bar of the T forming a capacitance with the ground to make up for the radiator, being a fraction of the 1515 meter wavelength. It's a tribute to once vital station. Radio 4 transmissions are likely to stop in 2024. So a pretty cool video here by Ringway Manchester. Portrait of a long wave station in its twilight years. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I might have 1 or 2 more things, but I'll throw it out to the group. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, please call now.
KF0JWX, quick question.
Yeah, KF0JWX. Ben, go right ahead.
Thanks, Jerome. Heading up to BarkFest this weekend, and I'm going to be looking to purchase my first HF radio. Going to get something used, probably under $500. I was wondering if anybody had any quick recommendations for models I should be looking for, or any kind of things I should be inspecting when looking to buy a used radio. JWX.
A comment, SUM.
All right, good question. The upcoming Boulder Amateur Radio Club BarkFest, October 8th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'd love to see people out there up in Longmont, it looks like. Yeah, buying of used equipment, what might be a pretty good radio. I think we talked about this a little bit. Maybe there's some medium ground, but I'll throw it out to Jonathan, SUM. Go right ahead.
Well, stay the whole time. They have really good door prizes, but 500, yeah, I'd go with a Yaesu FTM 891 if your first HF radio. It's just kind of a bulletproof radio. You'll have to learn the menus, but I've had one for 5 years, and I just absolutely love it. Back in there.
All right, thanks there, Jonathan, SUM. Yeah, I think that was it a little bit, looking at the photo here. Anything without a waterfall, at least, will be a bit cheaper. Quite frankly, will have the same feature sets, more or less, that you've come to expect. Yeah, something that came out maybe 10 to 15 years ago does not have a waterfall, but still is HF. And we were also talking about maybe HF only, or HF and 50 megahertz, as the 891 there is. Maybe it won't be, unfortunately, an all-band, all-mode shack in a box. Potentially, but it may need to be HF only bands. But yeah, there are some pretty good options out there. I'm going to see if I can bring up anything else. But anyone else at the moment, any good used rig buying options for HF? Go right ahead.
Bravo.
Yeah, Ken, Alpha Bravo. Go right ahead.
What kind of modes are you going to run? All of them, or do you have a preference on what you want to do? Single side band, CW or AM or FM, or what are you looking for in that area?
Honestly, not really sure. I was thinking primarily 40 and 20 meters to start, just, voice, but, eventually moving over to CW.
If you can find an ICOM 7200, I think they are. They've got the little handles on them, and they're nice and compact. And they'll run the single sideband
and the only thing about them is that they have the 6 meters, but they don't have 6 meters FM. There's no FM, but they'll run the HF bands and the CW. And if you're going to get into CW, they don't have a waterfall, but they have a really nice filter system where you can set up your filters very nicely. It's a nice radio for filters probably at that price point, but that's what I look for. And when I kind of look at radios, I know sometimes they don't have them powered up, but every once in a while when I look at used radios, I look at the power cords and see how they are, and if they're loose and wobbly, just see how stable they are, because sometimes you can run into power cord problems when you buy used gear. But that's kind of what I look for in used radios. Anyway, this is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo, and back to net.
So Alpha Bravo, going to Hamfest, etc., sometimes you accidentally bought gear that was not up to snuff?
Yes, I have. I bought a FT900, a Yaesu FT900 one time, and the power, like I said, the power cord was kind of goofed up on it, and the AM it wouldn't the AM wouldn't work correctly. I don't know what was wrong with it, but I did manage to fix the power cord. I opened it up and got in there and fixed the power cord and got that running, but I could never get the AM to work correctly in it. But I think I only paid about probably $600 at the time. This has been years ago, and it's still in. I still have it. It's a nice little radio, but the AM doesn't work. So there you go. This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo. Back to net.
But reading Hamfest you've gone to, then you'd say most sellers are basically honest. This was some kind of mistake, or were you misled? AE0SUM.
Well, I don't think I was misled in any way, shape, or form. Certainly, guys probably know that something's wrong with it, and they might not tell you, but I'm not going to say they're dishonest. They're just passing used gear. I mean, I've got a ton of used gear here and probably 50 to 60% of them have issues with them, and I just look at them as issues. But a lot of guys can pick this stuff up and they crack them open and they open them up, and it might be a cold weld, or you got to get in there and kind of look at them too. So it's buyer beware, but you can't cry over spilled milk. This is Kilo Echo Zero Alpha Bravo. Back to net.
All right, there, Alpha Bravo. Thanks so much for the follow-up on there. Yeah, buyer beware. Your mileage may vary. Yeah, be aware of buying used products for sure. But hopefully most people in this hobby are fairly trustworthy and won't intentionally try to sell you a lemon, things like that. So there was, I think, a double in there, and then we're going to try to wrap up the net here. It's about 8:45, but I think there was also somebody else trying to call in there. Go right ahead.
W0TX repeater.
Yeah, I think that might have been me doubling. I was just saying thanks for the recommendations about the radio models and also the power cord issue. That's exactly what I was looking for. So KF0JWX, back to net.
All right, sounds good there, JWX. Appreciate the follow-up, and Alpha Bravo and everyone else, SUM on that. Check out the Hamfest. Great place to purchase some equipment, and you might find some gems, but you might not. So get in early, because they start early, and the good stuff leaves quick. So this is K1DBC Net Control. This will be the final call for check-ins. Just for the count, if you'd like to check in just for the count to the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name. Please call now. All right, this is Daron, K1DBC, Net Control. Nothing heard at the moment. More information on our club, w0tx.org, Denver Radio Club, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club, w0tx.org/Discord. Check out our chat room there. A lot of cool people. So if you've enjoyed discussing what we've enjoyed here and you'd like to continue it on, our Discord is a wonderful place to do that. So again, w0tx.org/Discord. We had a total of 19 check-ins this evening. Really do appreciate that. I played a few things before the net, and I'll play a minute or so, something after the net. I teased a little bit, but if you've ever played Portal 2, this is just a nice little, just funny outro. So this is K1DBC Net Control. Again, we appreciate everyone checking in here. Appreciate everyone being able to help as an Elmer or bring any opinion and help everyone out here. So we really appreciate everyone jumping in at any given time. So let's see, join us the third Wednesday of the month, 6 p.m. for an Elmer session prior to the regular scheduled meeting at 7 p.m. Our upcoming meeting, let me drop here for a moment. October 18th, presentation topic, Solar Cycle in Radio, presented by Rob Steenberg. I hope I'm pronouncing that last name correctly. Call sign AD0UI. He is a friend of, I think, AE0YR, and was able to get in contact with us. So Rob is a space scientist at the National Weather Service's Space Weather Prediction Center in Boulder, Colorado. He entered the space weather field over 15 years ago after serving 20 years as an Air Force meteorologist. Licensed amateur radio since 1980. He enjoys CW, FT8, and building repair equipment. So he'll be giving a pretty good presentation on solar cycle and radio. So again, October 18th, w0tx.org for more information. Okay, with that, really do appreciate everyone checking in. If you're ever interested in operating as a net control operator, we're always happy to help you with that. Again, I wanted to thank N0TRP, Jim, AS0E, Alex, or excuse me, AF0EX, Alex, and then Kevin Schmidt, K0KPS, and anyone else who's tried to help out with net control operations. Really do appreciate that. So, yeah, with that, it is 8:47 p.m. Mountain Time. I'll go ahead and close out the net. Please join us next Wednesday, 1930 hours, 7:30 p.m. for the next Learning Net. This is K1DBC 73, and I will be clear. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining here. This is just a quick video here. So y'all have a good evening.
So much space. Need to see it all.
I wish I could take it all back. I honestly do. I honestly do wish I could take it all back. And not just because I'm stranded in space. I know you are, mate. Yeah, we're both in space. Anyway, you know, if I was ever to see her again, do you know what I'd say? I'd say, I'm sorry. Sincerely. I am sorry I was bossy and monstrous, and I am genuinely sorry. The end.